A few days after, Miss Martian wakes up disoriented in the desert and tries to figure out where she is. Suddenly, Superboy lands beside her, and the two exchange confused glares. When Miss Martian asks if he is Superman, without replying, Superboy tears his shirt and growls savagely. He lunges himself at Miss Martian, who deflects his lunge with telekinesis. Superboy desists and leaps off into the desert. Miss Martian curls up on the ground, thinking she's living a nightmare. Shortly after noon the next day, Robin is making his way across the desert when he spots a Humvee of Bialyan soldiers from the rock he's standing on. He checks his wrist computer, only to find, much to his surprise, that he's in Bialyan. More so, he realizes it's actually September instead of March, and he has no memory of the last 6 months. He decides to contact Batman, but suddenly recalls him ordering radio silence at all times. He ventures off and finds a shred of Superboy's shirt, leaving him very much confused. What in the bat hell is going on here? In a remote cabin in the middle of the Bialyan desert, Artemis is awakened by Kid Flash and is initially startled. Both of them are confused with what's going on. Neither of them have any memory at all. They're trying to figure out who they are, but fall short after arguing with each other like a teen couple in love. As they hear an incoming missile, the two dash out of the cabin just before it gets blown to bits. The Bialyan soldiers open fire at them as they make a run for it. Artemis counterattacks with an explosive arrow, making the Humvee capsize. She proceeds to attack the tanks, but Kid Flash decides to retreat and whisks her away at high speed. She thanks him and Kid Flash resumes their interrupted introduction. Meanwhile, Miss Martian is flying across the desert, overly excited about being on Earth, though she can't remember how she got there. She decides to stop and meditate to figure things out. She remembers Superboy and serving cookies to her teammates just before being called by Batman to the mission room. Having realized she is part of a team, she gets off to locate them. Kid Flash stops to replenish his energy, but finds his food stash empty. Suddenly, Superboy jumps in and attacks the two. After slamming Kid Flash into a rock, he turns to Artemis, who tries to parry him with a barrage of explosive arrows. However, the soldiers caught up to them and hit Superboy with a missile. Fortunately, Miss Martian telepathically senses his distress and heads to their location. Superboy vents his rage on the soldiers and demolishes their tanks. Scared, Kid Flash and Artemis make a run for it, but he trips over and the pair falls down a slope. As two drones open fire at them, Artemis lines up an arrow but is suddenly put off by Miss Martian's voice in her head and misses. Miss Martian arrives and disposes of the drones. Kid Flash assumes she's Martian Manhunter in a new disguise, but she tells them that she's his niece and calls Kid Flash by his real name. She further assures them that they're friends and part of a team, but it's hopeless, and they don't remember it. The trio then heads out to find Robin and Superboy. Superboy is restrained by soldiers, who struggle to contain him. A hooded man, Psimon, uses his telepathic powers to subdue the bewildered hero. They drag him into a truck and drive off. Meanwhile, Aqualad is lying unconscious in the vicinity without anyone knowing. Later that night, Robin arrives to a place marked in his GPS where he finds a mysterious apparatus. He attempts to investigate up close, but he's attacked by hidden soldiers. They try to capture him, but Robin takes them on. Eventually, Kid Flash and the others arrive to aid him. After subduing the soldiers, Robin salutes Kid Flash and is relieved to see a familiar face. Robin tells them that he's also suffering from memory loss and proposes that they compare notes. They figure out they are a team, along with Superboy, and Robin assumes they must work for Batman, as he remembers him ordering radio silence. Kid Flash suggests they might as well be working for his mentor, and accidentally stumbles upon his stealth tech switch, which the others don't seem to have, and is pretty cool. Soon, the group remembers Batman deploying them in to investigate a power surge in the Bialyan desert. They landed in Kurak, Vila's border. They found a tent guarded by soldiers, and Miss Martian pursued investigating in camouflage mode. Aqualad instructed her to maintain a telepathic link, and the heroes suddenly realized that they were missing Aqualad. Robin locates Aqualad on his scanner. Inside the guarded tent, scientists are running tests on Massive Sphere and Superboy. As they electrocute the teen, the sphere seems to react to his pain, which fascinates Psimon. The team finds Aqualad delirious due to dehydration. As the bioship is out of reach and Kid Flash is too low on energy, Miss Martian is the only one who can do something about it. However, she insists she must find Superboy urgently. Kid Flash argues that Superboy is indestructible, while Aqualad is on the brink of death, but upon sensing Superboy's pain, Miss Martian takes off to find him. She arrives at the tent, sneaks past the guards, and turns off the torture device. However, Psimon senses her and remarks she must be a glutton for punishment. He unleashes a telepathic attack to erase her memories again. Miss Martian now recalls when she infiltrated the tent the day before and found the sphere being tortured. She could feel its pain and tried to reach out. However, Psimon interfered and used Miss Martian's telepathic link with her teammates to erase their memories. As he tries to repeat the deed, Miss Martian fights back, and the two telepaths engage in a mental spar. Robin, Kid Flash, and Artemis drag Aqualad across the desert to safety, but struggle to elude more soldiers. Underarmed and worn out to fight them head-on, Robin ducks out. Artemis and Kid Flash once again start bickering, and Robin returns to reveal he used his communicator to lure the soldiers away. As they are stimmed by explosives, the heroes pursue their escape. Psimon bests Miss Martian in their telepathic battle. Inside the tent, Superboy wakes up and spots the camouflage in Miss Martian with his infrared vision and then sees Psimon, both in a trance. As he becomes enraged, the sphere reacts and spins wildly until it breaks free and then releases Superboy. He lunges at Psimon, but inadvertently touches Miss Martian and joins her in her mental realm. Psimon scoffs at her relief, but Miss Martian asserts that now she can restore Superboy's memories. After getting his memory back, Superboy goads Miss Martian to vanquish Psimon, who arrogantly incites her. Time's up, Brain Man. Back in the tent, the sphere disposes of two soldiers targeting the heroes. Superboy hesitantly thanks it and then engages more incoming troops. Psimon and Miss Martian exchange psychic blows and her telekinesis flare out of control, creating a psychic tornado inside the tent. Superboy reaches her and the two join forces to effectively expel Psimon from the mindscape. Back to reality, Psimon is engulfed by the tornado and is hurled away. Superboy secures Miss Martian in his arms, and they nearly kiss, had the sphere interrupted them. Superboy wonders whether he can keep it. Seems like a good enough pet. Aqualad is being nursed back to health on the bioship. Miss Martian contacts the team to tell them that she found Superboy and both are en route. Upon this, Aqualad stands up in a jolt, confused by the voices in his head and the strangers around him. Miss Martian realizes she hasn't recovered his memories yet, as the sphere speed rolls behind them. Psimon reports to the light that he lost both the sphere and Superboy. However, a female member of the council dismisses his plaint, saying that the important thing is that their new partner's delivery system has demonstrated to function efficiently. She goes on to say that technology alike will follow, and it will overpower both the sphere and even Superboy. At a Gotham warehouse, the Team Young Justice is overpowered in a skirmish with Clayface. Batman steps in on the scene and defeats him with a taser, all in a day's work for the Dark Knight. He then tells Aqualad to stay behind, while others go back home. He apologizes for the team, but Batman claims it's not the team, it's him. Aqualad admits that his mind is torn between Atlantis and the Academy. Batman questions if it was Atlantis or someone in Atlantis, and makes him choose between his undersea life or surface life. It's gotta be quick, and it's gotta be now. Aqualad returns to Atlantis and swims through the city with his king, who tells Aqualad about a dinner he and Queen Mera are hosting. Aqualad finds one of his friends, Topo, making a display telling the story of how Kaldur's became Aqualad. He later finds his childhood friends Garth and Tula practicing with Queen Mera. Queen Mera invites Aqualad to her dinner. Aqualad asks Tula if she would attend with him. She responds that she and Garth have training to do but would be happy to come. But it seems something is off with her and Aqualad. Meanwhile, back in Mount Justice, Miss Martian is trying to prepare dinner while Superboy is looking at a blank TV. Superboy seems out of sorts, even while trying to help out Miss Martian back in the kitchen. As she's using her telekinesis to quickly gather all the needed items, all the items crash into Superboy, leaving him a mess. She quickly grabs a rag and cleans him up while apologizing. Later, Red Tornado finds Megan chopping onions while Superboy is watching the blank TV while covered in food. He simply leaves without saying anything. Back in Atlantis, Black Manta and his crew attack some palace guards. Black Manta sticks a bomb on one of the palace walls. A secret coup is in place. Dick Grayson is exercising in the gym, still mad at Batman for wanting to only talk to Aqualad earlier, and takes his frustration out by punching the wall, unaware that Bruce is watching him. Their butler, Alfred Pennyworth, tells him that Batman wishes to see him. Robin steps outside, and Bruce throws a basketball at him. They start a game. The understudy is happy to have the master all to himself again. Back in Atlantis at the king's dinner, Prince Orm starts to tell a story about a creature they're keeping at the science center, while Aqualad considers that he would come back to Atlantis and study with Tula and Garth. Queen Mara explains that he can't be in Tula or Garth's class because he left his studies a long time ago. He then considers that he need a tutor, referring to Tula. Wally and his parents are at their house celebrating Jay Garrick's birthday. Bialyan is clearing the table with his usual showmanship, while Wally's mother is telling his wife, Iris, that she's lucky to be married to Barry, because Wally wasn't that fast when it comes to clearing the table and he got embarrassed. Barry came back out and explained that Wally would be fast when he wants to, showing that Wally is eating a gallon of ice cream. In Atlantis at the dinner party, Aquaman said that he and the Queen had an announcement to make. Queen Mara reveals she's pregnant, and everyone gets excited. Aqualad congratulated the king and said there finally would be an heir to the throne, but then apologized to Prince Orm because he didn't want to offend him. Orm assures Aqualad and says that he was happiest for the new baby. While he and Queen Mara are kissing, he gets a message from Superman telling him there's an emergency in Tokyo Bay. He then tells everyone that he has to leave and asks Aqualad to swim with him. He tells him that Batman has told him about his dilemma, and tells him how hard it is for him to love Atlantis and live in the surface world, and also hopes he'll make the right choice. Back in the city, Aqualad and Tula swim together. Aqualad tells him he's made the decision to stay in Atlantis with her, and because of her. Tula then tells him that she and Garth are already together, leaving him heartbroken and upset. Just then, a building explodes due to a bomb detonated by Black Manta's crew. Queen Mara and Prince Orm quickly rush to the scene. They all begin to fight Black Manta's men. Garth comes behind Tula and she warns him to look out. She quickly pushes him out of the way, saving his life, but also gets shocked by one of the members of Black Manta's crew, leaving both Garth and Aqualad upset. Prince Orm says that he must protect both the Queen and the heir. Queen Mara insisted that she didn't need any protection and for them to go. Prince Orm insists, and Aqualad agreed with saying the battle was his. Garth offered to help him, but Aqualad said that his place was with Tula. Artemis is in the living room of her small apartment with the TV on while inspecting one of her arrows. Her mother comes in telling her that something came in the mail for her. She looked at the letter, which said she had been accepted into Gotham Academy with a full Wayne scholarship, even though she didn't apply. Her mom explained that it was a very prestigious school that she should be thrilled about. Artemis then crumples up the letter and throws it on the table, explaining to her mom that she wasn't switching schools, and her friends were at Gotham North. Her mother grabs her hand with tears running down her cheeks, telling her it is a chance to a better life, a chance that her mom never got. Artemis then changes her mind when she sees tears in her mom's eyes and decides to go for her. In Atlantis, Black Manta and his crew in the Science Center are trying to steal the giant starfish creature. Aqualad is with Garth swimming up behind him. Inside the Science Center, Black Manta commands that one of his men check the perimeter and says that once the manta ray ship melts through the roof above the starfish, they will take the starfish and go. Garth then asks Aqualad if he had a plan and turns around not seeing him. Black Manta quickly discovers Aqualad and Garth in their disguises and attacks them. Garth then almost gets captured if not for the quick thinking of Aqualad, and he tells him to get his head in the game. Then they try to fight Black Manta and his gang. Interestingly, Garth summons the power of the Tempest to attack Black Manta and his men. Since the duo is able to break the cables and halt the abduction, Black Manta shoots the creature in its crystal cage. Unfortunately, the creature explodes and Black Manta escapes. Soon after the battle is over, Prince Orm reports that the remaining piece of the echinoderm is regenerating, but they no longer have the means to study in Atlantis. He suggests sending it to the surface world, and Aquaman agrees with him. Aqualad decides to leave for the surface world for good. He then hugs and congratulates Garth and Tula, and asks if they ever thought about what would have happened if Garth became Aqualad. Garth replies, never. Aqualad replies, neither have I.
Tell me who broke your heart. Tula. The girl I love chose my best friend Garth over me.
When he gets back to the cave, Batman asks if he has made a decision. Aqualad tells him that he's there 100%. As the rest of the team come out, he briefs them on an anomaly detected in the Bialyan desert. Back in the depth of the ocean, Black Manta reports to the Light that the mission was a failure and was forced to execute Plan B. The Light praises him for doing so.